Welcome to the No Bull Political Arena. With your hosts, Sophia Nelson, Bill O'Reilly, Brian Mistro, and TJ McCormick. It's real voices, raw politics, and no bullshit. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the No Bull Political Arena again. Super glad to have you. And we've got a lot of fun things we're going to talk about today. This is Brian Mistro. I'm here with my friends Bill O'Reilly and TJ McCormick. Thanks so much for being a part of this and so forth. So, yeah. I think one of the things, and I saw this, TJ, just today. And this one comes from the heart. I know you and I have gone back and forth about, Brian, you're going to become a Democrat or something like that, right? It's just a little bantering back and forth. And then today we've got Pew Research has released a new poll that shows Americans hate both of the political parties. And I'm like, hell yes, put me in that group right there.
Did we need a poll for that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And neither one of them look good. I got to be honest. I that doesn't surprise me. And yet, we'll still elect those people out of those two parties over and over and over again. I just don't get it. Does that poll doesn't surprise you then, Bill?
Not even a little. I thought the numbers would actually be worse. The polls that I had seen they've got Republicans getting killed in the midterms, as of right now, snapshot now.
Right.
But the Democratic Party is more underwater than the Republican Party. So it's like, well, how does that make sense?
Yeah. TJ, does that number doesn't surprise you a bit either, does it?
No, like Bill, I would have expected it to be, more in line with the even more devastating number of how many people loathe Congress as an institution.
Yeah, I'd go with bubonic plague and syphilis and all those things. It would be right. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It stands to reason. People can't stand the institution of Congress. They can't stand the institution of the two major political parties, but they like their guy or gal. So I guess that's where that slight bit of uptick comes from.
But the other thing is the historic brands of both parties are totally shot.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're completely different. Like if you can say, what is the Democratic Party? 20 years ago you would have said blue collar, this kind of thing, but Midwest, all that type of stuff, not anymore at all. It's like way left. And the Republican Party has gone off on this populist tangent where it's like it's nothing is careful, nothing is considered, everything is knee jerk, and Congress does nothing. It's no surprise. It's no surprise. This is where we are.
Well, it's funny.
And by the way, I'm sorry. And to your point, Brian, they keep electing. If ever there was somebody that wasn't so much a Democrat and so much a Republican, it's Donald Trump. So, the guy really, especially where he started off, as a pro-choice, not necessarily, was he a registered Democrat?
Yeah,
Bill?
for years.
And coming from New York where he, played both sides and gave money to this and gave money to that and hosted and feted all comers. They elected a not so much Republican Democrat guy as president. So
Reform Party. He was Reform Party for a while. If you remember that fiasco.
Oh, was he?
That was yeah. He was Reform Party. They had a big nomination fight out in California, and the thing broke in national TV. The thing just turned into chaos. Chairs weren't being thrown, but it was that type of thing, where the whole thing just melted down on national TV, and it looked like that was the end of Trump's career. That was 2000, 2002 thereabouts.
So anyway, Brian, I'm sorry.
He came back.
Yeah, he did with a roaring back on top of an elephant, right? So yeah. So it's interesting you bring that up about the blue collar workers and how they've shifted. I saw this graph today, and for those that are just listening and can't see it, the graph shows that in 2023, we had over 800,000 jobs of blue-collar workers. And, of course, this is in the height of COVID. But since then, oh, my God, it has plummeted exponentially. It's not even a straight line anymore. And you watch this until you get to, through 2004, coming up right around 2025, when Trump took over, and there's been no change at all. And you know, I when I look at that chart, and now they're actually losing over 200,000, 225,000 jobs month over month. And friends, that's how Donald Trump got reelected. That is his base and his people. That, I mean, when you have that many people that are going unemployed, blue collar workers, I mean, that's his base. That's you know, that's how you. That's why people elected him again.
I don't necessarily think they're all going unemployed, but they're switching jobs, jobs and careers. I mean, it's a long trend. Americans are moving away from small manufacturing and the old industrial heartland. I mean, look at the smokeless smokestacks all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff is in China and the rest of it. And even though President Trump talked about trying to incentivize businesses to come back through the tariffs and the rest of the stuff, I don't think you're going to break that trend. I mean, people don't want to do assembly line jobs anymore in America. They want jobs where they can think, do more things. It's in that direction, and which is why it's so important that we keep moving forward with technology, despite its threats to us, because you need to keep the economy going. You got to keep people at work.
But now I likely read the chart wrong or didn't, but it looked like too though that there was a part of that massive blue collar drop off was transportation and warehouse work. Now that didn't, if I read it right, it looked like it's like negative, underneath that median line, which surprised me because if anything, transportation and warehouse work, it seems to be part of this new Amazon economy and e-commerce and all that. It seems like transportation and warehouse work, unless it's so streamlined and robotics, perhaps that's some of it. But I haven't really heard a major, I don't know. That's surprised me that it would have gone down into the negative numbers.
Yeah, I mean the unemployment rate is still frictional. It's not a bad rate, but I think the overall trend, Brian, you're exactly right. Those positions they're disappearing, and most of them are never coming back.
A lot of them.
Not in the near-term future.
And we've been on that trend for a while now, going back a couple of presidents. Decades now of jobs that are the types of jobs that have been going away are ones that are never coming. I mean, we were saying that coming out of the Obama administration.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and you've got
and before.
And you've
look
got
at textiles, all that. I mean, it's all gone.
Yeah, and you've got AI too that's going to hit that, and I mean that's been a subject that we've hit on here on this discussion, this show quite a bit. And it's not just going to be blue collars that are going to lose their jobs on AI. It's going to be a lot of white collar, lower middle management folks that are going to lose their jobs. It's kind of a scary trend, honestly, because when you're hemorrhaging that many jobs over that long of a period, I think it makes a country unstable. And we don't know what the longer term effects of that are going to be. It's now. We've locked down the border, which is a huge positive. That's one of the things I've given Trump a huge thumbs up for. But how many of these would have been, illegal workers? I don't know, but you got to look at that and wonder, right?
Certainly some, but it goes back to NAFTA and Bill Clinton, and they talked about we're going to do jobs, retraining program for the entire Midwest and the whole industrial base, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen, and then you say, well, people can move to other communities and get jobs there. Most people want to stay where they are.
Yeah.
So their standard of living went down, and they're understandably upset.
Yeah.
And afraid. They watch the American dream fading as they see it, and it's scary.
Yeah, I think I've told this story before. So my wife grew up in North Carolina, in eastern North Carolina. There was a big paper mill out there, and they build entire communities around, these large out there manufacturing facilities, with paper mills being one of them.
And they smell.
And they do. Bad. She goes, we can go through. She immediately goes, I know that smell, and I grew up hating it. But anyways, it's there we go. Bill, got you back there.
Sorry, my camera problem. Yep.
Yeah, no problem. But anyways, I was talking to her about that, and she had to fix that real quick. So I was talking to her about that, and what happened was, as you know, paper mills really went downhill because the people have been going electronic. I mean, I used to print off stuff like crazy. I don't hardly print off anything anymore, right? And so that paper mill started laying off just truckloads of people. And these are people that grew up there. It could be a generational thing. I mean, you know, my dad worked at the paper mill. My granddad worked at the paper mill. And now they have no job. You know, you wipe out an entire community.
Killed it.
You think COVID got it? Because I think
I know.
on the paper mills.
There's a fella in my town here in northern Westchester who's an executive with a paper company, and he was a top executive, like white collar executive with this, and it decimated. I mean, think about it. Everybody went electronic for like 2 years. Like, I mean, any semblance of office work. It was
the cardboard boxes survived, but the rest of it, right?
Yeah, you know, the actual paper.
Think about the magazine industry, the paperback industry.
Oh, yeah.
Think how many newspapers are printed every day in the country that are just not printed anymore.
Amazing.
I mean,
Right.
Massive.
It's the old buggy whip thing, right? It's that the technology has changed, and now nobody's going to be using it anymore.
Right.
but
there's sex clubs.
But also there's something about, like, in the U.S.
Buggy
our
whip.
standard of living is so high that we're no longer interested in doing the jobs that don't pay that well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all those textile jobs, like, you know, I hate to say it, but the Chinese or the Vietnamese or Bangladeshis will do it for a tenth of what Americans will do it for. So, of course, it's going to go overseas.
Yeah, and you know that's one of the things that never made sense to me about Donald Trump and his tariffs, because you know, we're not going to compete in making underwear in the United States of America when somebody that's happy making 5 cents over in, you know, Pakistan somewhere can do it for vastly cheaper. So you're not bringing that industry back, and if you did bring it back, either nobody would buy the product or it'd be so damned expensive that, you know, you'd have multiple other effects. But you know, we've talked about tariffs on here so many times. It just absolutely drives me crazy, and that's the old traditional Republican, you know, free market stuff. But
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yep. Yeah, and I know TJ is too. You know, it doesn't make sense. It never works. I've been following Mike Lee, who, by the way, I think he's a nut. But that being aside. He brought up today that either we're going to need to nuke the filibuster to pass the SAVE Act, which is not going to happen, or, you know, they're going to give away. So he's making the case that if they don't nuke the filibuster, then when Democrats get in power next time, they're going to kill the filibuster and ram through their agenda permanently, and so forth and so on. Typical Mike Lee. But it's something I want to toss out to you two guys and get your feel, because I am really curious what you think about the filibuster. I am personally a big advocate of it because it prevents one-party rule, right? I mean, it makes it harder for whoever has the majority in the Senate to ram things through. But it does have its negatives, right? And so, and one of the negatives is you may not get everything you want, even when you control all the branches of government. What do you think, Bill? I mean, do you think it's the filibuster still serve its time?
I mean, the founding fathers didn't write the filibuster; it came, you know, a century later. But I'm a big fan of it because, for the reasons that you speak about, Brian. I like that it slows things down. I like that you have to have a consensus. To me, an incredibly productive federal government is not what we want. I think we want a considered and measured federal government that makes incremental change where it's agreed that it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm a big fan of it. When Joe Biden came in, I was very worried that the Democrats were going to kill the filibuster. And I think, and I'm on the right side of the aisle. I'm a registered conservative in New York State, not a Republican Party, but I'm essentially a Republican. Republicans should recognize that Democrats were able to do it in the last administration. They didn't. They didn't do it. They could have done it, and they didn't. And I think we should follow suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur. Bill, I'm lockstep with both of you. I think pretty much both of you guys. And I don't want an incredible. Billy, you put that perfectly. I don't want a prolific government
activist.
that's just acting and activist and just like a. You know, like New York State government, you know what I mean? Every other fucking day, you see state senators and assembly people talking about bills they're passing, law after law.
You could pass anything you want, anything they want.
Anything you want, and one party, in a single party supermajority. and it's window dressing. It's for show. It's performative, and but actually, I'm sorry, it's not. It's putting on a show, but it does have real effects, unfunded mandates, and just businesses and citizens mired in regulation. It is ridiculous. And so I'm with
Brian, to TJ's point, that the Democrats with this, they control every aspect of state government in New York, and they pass so many regulations on environmental thing and strictures and CO2 levels and that type of stuff, that if we don't change it, basically the state goes out of business. I mean, there's you're like, we have to have 30% of this by 2030. It ain't happening. You know what I mean? It's performative. It's like, I will do this for the environment on the floor. When it's completely unrealistic in the real world.
Yeah, and you just wonder it's almost like remember the I don't know if you remember the film it's one of my favorite of all times, the original. A pox on everyone who made the remake of The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, the original was great.
The original
Robert Shaw,
Robert Shaw and Walter Matthau and Martin Balsam. Oh, and anyway, it's they take the brakes out of a New York City subway train, and it's running, and it's just going, and there's this old Jewish man who's sitting there going, "Don't worry, there's a special brake. It slows it down. It won't go past a red light," And all of a sudden, and it's this old 1970s version of a black dude is like, "Oh yeah, we'll turn it." Something like that. It was like, "Oh no," black guy dressed as a pimp and go with, We're kind of like that right now in New York State, and I think in a lot of other majority, super majority states. I'll say states, not Democrats. I'll go across the board, where you've got just this. Here in New York, I wonder where is like the one or two pragmatic Democrats who quietly or loudly are saying
hiding.
It's like
hiding from primaries, like the.
I think you're right.
We don't want to just talk about New York, but Democratic Socialists are challenging every mainstream Democrat, and they've been taking them down one after the other.
Because we will go out of it. We will go out of bit. Can you imagine, like right now, Brian, in New York City, they're passing a pied-à-terre law, and if you don't live in New York City, you don't know what a pied-à-terre is. Basically a second apartment. It means a place to walk through. It's like a walk-through. It basically is a spot where a city place for people who to either come in, do shopping, and then go. Hold on to. It's for Europeans. It's for wealthy people who want to live in the country and have a place in the city. There's the vice versa now. Billy, I don't know if you saw it today, that they want that pied-à-terre tax. They want that to be in upstate New York, so people with the little place in the Catskills or the Adirondacks or Saratoga. They want it at Finger Lakes. They want a super duper tax. There goes
on already the highest tax people in the country. But Brian, don't worry, it's coming to you too. I'm sure you're in Washington State. Well, this stuff either starts in New York or California, and then it moves around.
Wait for the boat tax. Wait for the boat tax, because they're going to say that you print money. You're able to have a boat that's got a bedroom.
It's a yacht. Anybody that owns a yacht is a millionaire.
Exactly.
Here, a sizable house gets a mansion tax.
Yeah, Brian, I think we brought this up once before. Like years ago, New York was going to do its first millionaire tax.
Yeah,
and a millionaire was someone who made $250,000 a year. That was their category for a millionaire. And if you made $249,999 a year, you were eligible for rent stabilization programs.
Oh my God!
You're poor enough at $249,999. And you're a millionaire at $250.
That's that extra penny. Well,
a very powerful penny. Yep.
Well, just so you know, our wonderful Democrat governor just signed that into law here too. So we now have the millionaire tax here. Yes, we do.
Is it really for millionaires, or is it like 50?
Well, for right now it is. It's. I'm sure it's given it some time, and they're going to do exactly what you're talking about.
Brian, your new party has left you.
My new party. It's the mayor up in Seattle, Bill. She's doing these crazy tax things, and she's adding on this other tax onto businesses, and it caused Starbucks to pack up and leave. So Starbucks Starbucks in
leaving
Seattle,
home base.
Washington, to pack up
Yep.
and leave. So
Yeah, look at all the banks leaving New York. They're all going to Texas and Florida.
yeah, and I want to move on beyond to something else, but I just want to say too, you know, I'm a big climate change person. I believe it's happening. I believe it's existential. And then the reason that we don't address this and make something that's actually positive is many times because of Democrats. And you're not going to understand this, so let me just show a little logic. Our wonderful governor decided that any new house built could no longer have natural gas going to it. You had to be all electric.
We're way ahead of you. That's 3 years in New York.
All it does is piss people off. That gas, I mean, the CO2 that comes off of that is minimal. Okay, it's just minimal.
It's the perfect interim. Natural gas is a blessing. It's just a perfect interim. I mean, we're still using 85, 87% petroleum for everything in the country with all the new technologies out there. And until they come up to speed, we need them, or else the lights go out. And the economy collapses, and we sit in the dark and watch the rest of the world go ahead of us.
Well, and it just comes back because you shoot yourself in the foot, because you're going to get people and voters so pissed off that they don't want to have anything to do with any of it. So, but they don't get that. I actually tried to write an op-ed. Remember we were talking about op-eds earlier to Seattle Times. They wouldn't pick it up, you know, because here's a Republican or a conservative, not a Republican anymore, a conservative person that believes in climate change, is fighting for it, and telling you, Democrats, you're screwing this up, so don't do it. But it is what it is. They quit listening to me a long time ago. Here's one that you're going to like, TJ. Now, this is I actually got a kick out of this. So the DNC chair that who's running the DNC. The other groups have tried to get together and kick him off the board and force him out of his chair position, but they can't find anybody else who wants the job. Who would? I mean, God, what? This party is so screwed up. You know, they're going to win the midterms. I think it's going to be in the House. It'll be a blowout. I think it's at least a 50-50. They win the Senate right now. But they're not winning because they're doing things right. They're just winning because Donald Trump and the GOP are so unpopular, especially Trump. And so they're going to come out of this. They're not going to learn anything. And they're going to think, oh, you know, it's our policies and positions have finally switched over. We've attracted the working class back. And it's not going to happen. So I don't know what's going to happen in 2028 for sure. But, you know, if they can't get their act together, good Lord, help us.
What's going to happen, actually, they're going to... I have a similar microcosm problem right here in my hometown where we have 2 school board seats open. And one is an incumbent conservative who will be the lone conservative on my school board. The other is another conservative seat. He's walking away. And only 2 people are running for the 2 seats, the incumbent conservative and now a woman who is an insane leftist. She was the only other person to hand in petitions. She is walking into her seat unchallenged, unscathed. And my silver lining that I'm telling people is it's going to get so batshit that this time next year there's going to be 3 seats up, and we will take all 3 seats because it will get so batshit. Because they will get out over their skis. The lunatics have been
if you can find 3 candidates. TJ, you and Brian, let me ask you both. Would either of you take the helm of either party right now if it was offered to you, or even a seat in Congress? I'd rather die. I wouldn't accept either one. Absolutely. Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, no.
I mean, maybe if I was 25, but not. Get yelled at all the time, get nothing done, have the leadership sit on you.
Yeah, well, that's what Sass said. That's what Sass said. That's why he left.
Yeah.
Right. But the point I was making is that the Democrats are gonna, if they get this big walloping majority, they are going to fuck up so badly. Fuck up, because the only thing worse at having a majority than Republicans in Congress, by a long shot, are Democrats. They're just going to overdo. They're going to over-prosecute, over-persecute. They're going to they're going to impeach. they're going to just go nuts. They're going to go crazy, and they're going to underperform, and they're going to overtax, and they're going to or whatever. They hopefully the Senate will be there to stop the tax. But anyway, yeah, no, I think that's what it is. I think that over super duper win will just ultimately could be, oddly, the death knell for them.
Yeah, so the pendulum swings, and when you swing it too far, and then it swings too far the other way.
And they're currently swinging so far out of power.
Yeah, I mean, it's been swinging way too far for me for the last 10 years. It's just been tick-tock.
Yeah.
But Billy, no, you're right, Billy. No, nobody in their right mind would want to take over either party at all. They're both so dysfunctional in their own unique ways.
I mean, it make you an alcoholic in no time short. So yeah,
I beat them to that punch.
At a minimum, yeah.
One thing is, since we're talking about this, I'm throwing up another chart here that they just did a survey on Democrats, young voters. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Young voters 18 to 34. And they said, which party do you primarily, associate with, or will you vote for in the midterm margins? And everybody can see the chart right there. Well, 18 to 34 are voting for Democrats at 52% versus Republicans. I think it was 29. Let me pull that slide back up, but I think it's 19% Republican, 52%, 18 to 34 are voting for Democrat. And I'm going to throw this out to you, but here's another that's not on that chart that was part of the study. How many of you are actually going to vote? 14% of them weren't even going to cast a vote. They've already made up their minds.
More than that. About 67% of them won't vote. Like in the 2022 midterms, this is 18 to 29. I think you're saying 34.
Yeah, that's what the poll was. Yeah,
I think it was a 23% turnout in 22. Young every year everyone says that young people are going to come out and vote. They don't. They just don't. But that stat that you're pulling should be viewed by Republicans, and it should send shivers through their spines, because those people will get older, and those numbers are out of sync with traditional numbers. Democrats usually do a little better with younger voters, which we all know why. But those numbers are definitely out of whack for Republicans. They should be concerned about it. But those voters, no matter what they say, no matter what they tell the pollster, they don't come out. 75% of them will not come out.
Yeah, that's what we've seen.
They'll come out in the presidential, but they won't in this one.
Yeah, it's did that surprise you that many people, that are percentage of them, TJ, are going to vote for Democrats?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, it's surprising. Who did it? Who did the?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the poller. I should have looked that up.
Institute.
I don't think it was a big poller. I wasn't real familiar with them, but I did think it got a. I do think that it brought up a good discussion point, though, because I mean, I'm not that surprised by it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying I mean,
like Bill said, it's typical that the Democrats going to overperform. It's atypical that it's that crazy. Right now, though, everything is amplified. I mean, come on, there was a shooter outside the White House today. They're literally trying to kill the president, and it's becoming
Monday.
On our own podcast, we were wondering, why are we still talking about this? 10. So,
I was going to imagine how young people view the parties.
What was that, Bill?
My daughters, like a couple of them are more left. One of them is a little bit more center right, but none of them have any respect for the parties. I mean, what do you think young people think?
They don't like either one of them, huh?
Growing up and watching the discourse in this country, like why? Like I remember when I was I was born in '63 when Reagan came out. That kind of made me a Republican. I was 17, and Morning Again in America came out. I loved the ad, and that really turned me on and got me going. And I was dying to jump into the Republican Party. He had energy, was thinking of ideas. It was like pride back in America after all the Vietnam bummer stuff and like all the 70s bombings and the radicals and that kind of stuff like that. I was all in on it. I'll never be all in like that with a political party again.
Yeah, no,
it's just.
Well, you know how I feel, a pox on both those parties. So, and it's interesting, though, that somebody like Joe Walsh would join the Democrats. But, you and I have been in the third-party business, Bill, and if you're really serious about, ever getting elected or so forth, it's very difficult to do it without a party structure, behind
Yeah,
you.
you
It's
really
almost
can't.
impossible.
Not a substantial seat. You could win a
Yeah.
school board maybe or something, but
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. If you could, as we always ask, please subscribe. Of course, if you're watching this live right now, then you are on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button, press a like. If you've got a question, drop the question. We will talk about it on air. We have done it before, and we will do it again. And thanks, Bill. Thanks, TJ, for joining us tonight. It's been another interesting discussion. Tomorrow's sure to bring some big news on Iran, it looks like. So that'll probably be another topic tomorrow from what we're seeing in some of the changes. So
it's never dull.
Oh, it's never dull. Okay, thanks everybody. Appreciate you joining us, and we will see you soon.
Good night, all.
The No Bull Political Arena is on all major social media platforms. Make sure to give us and your host a follow.
Hey everybody, this is Sophia Nelson. Follow me at I am Sophia Nelson on every one of my social media platforms.
I'm Bill O'Reilly, and you can reach me at Twitter at WFBOR.
Hey, this is TJ. Follow me on X or Twitter at TJ McCormack.
This is Brian Mistro, and you can follow me on X at Brian_Mistro or follow along on Facebook at Brian.Mistro.
A No Bull Media Group member.